Hey guys, Ellen Woodbridge here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia. And I am here with you today. Sorry, just get up my other feed. Make sure we're all kosher and everything's working, because I'm not sure how my internet is working today. So, sorry. Australia. And there we go, muted. All ready to rock and roll. So I had a class on the weekend. I had a stamper stack and we made 7 cards. 2 of them, or one of them I've already shown you. It was one, hey Sherry, thanks for joining. It was one using the Lasting Lily stamp set. So I've already shown you one. But the card that I did want to pop in and show you is this very simple stamping card using the Flowering Desert stamp set. So I made this. It's also using the stitch shape framelits. Now this is available in the Occasions catalogue, which is like, yay! So it's available now, and it is a fairly inexpensive set. I'm going to see if I can flick to it. I want to say it's only about $25 or $30 in the Australian catalogue. It's a $25 stamp set in the Australian catalogue. Hey Elfie, thanks for joining. Oh, hey Rosalie. I was actually just really loud on my computer, so I'm not sure what's going on with your sound today. Now I also, while I'm talking of catalogues, I also want to remind you that the second release of Celebration is also out, so you can earn even more freebies. Fantastic Rose, thank you so much for that. Good to know I'm clear now. If you are joining on YouTube, the replay, you're joining in live, please say hi, tell me where you're from, because I like to know who's watching me and where you're from. Maybe it is Elfie. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm actually all prepared today. I will call myself a liar in just one second. Good morning, Karen. Thanks for joining. I have my stamps mounted on their blocks. I have the stamp set. I have the card. I have all my ink. My stamp chamois are moistened and ready to go. Everything's cut. Hey Leanne, everything's cut because I'm using my class kits. Oh, okay, yeah, to have a refresh. Yes, I know you're from Newcastle, my lovely. Hey Jeannie. Yeah, I know one of my ink pads is dry, so I've even got the re-inkers out. So I'm going to show you how I re-ink an ink pad. Hello, Teresa from Oregon. Thank you guys so much for joining. I will share before I flick. I'm so glad you got me back, Gail. Before I flick around, I will show you the card we are making using the Flowering Desert, which is a really inexpensive stamp set, but has a lot of things in it. I love the sentiments. When I turn you around, I'll talk a bit more about the stamp set. So what I will do, I'm already set up here ready to go. I'll flick you around, turn off my light, and we will get going with the card making. Let's see how I go today. See how we go. And I haven't put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so can we pray that someone doesn't ring? There we go, ready to go. Turn off the overhead light. I also shut the door because my husband is in a meeting at the same time in the other room. Okay, let's see how we go today. So we have the amazing Flowering Desert set. Now the reason I love this so much is it is pretty much build your own cactus set. That's what I've been calling it, because all these pieces here you can build your own cactus with, as well as having your traditional 3-armed cactus. You've got the little stingers, and you have a flower, and you've got these, and this one is actually a flower that grows out of a cactus. And I love the sentiments: be your own kind of beautiful, you are awesome, and hi there. So you can do these for so much. Hi Margaret, and thank you. Hi Joanne. So for a $25 Australian stamp set, I think this is really versatile. I'd happily use even this card here for a birthday card. Be your own kind of beautiful on your special day. I can customize it on the inside. So I have just used very simple stamping and Stampin' Off to create this. So before I start, no, I'll re-ink when I need to use that color. So I have my colors. So what we are using is Lovely Lipstick Card Base. Now, Lovely Lipstick is a color that I love because, as you know from my last live, I used Lovely Lipstick and it was very pink. But when you pair it with greens and the Mango Melody, it actually goes quite red. So it's one of those great chameleon colors. Depending on what you pop it with, depends on what colors we get. So I have already pre-done my card bases, pre-done my layer, and I have got these pieces of Whisper White cardstock ready to build. Now I am going to pop the card here off to the side because hopefully I shouldn't need much room. Okay, so I'm starting with the big cactus, and I'm actually making 3 cards today because I had one of my dear customers and my dear friends pull out last minute because she had some plumbing issues at her house, which left her house covered in insulation, and she has lots of fur babies, so she had to clean that up and subsequently couldn't come to my class. So I'm using Call Me Clover, which is one of the 2018 to 2020 in colors, along with the Lovely Lipstick as well. So I'm just giving this a few ink ups there. I'm putting this roughly in the middle, and I want to leave myself room to stamp the sentiment and put some ground underneath. So I have roughly sized this piece of paper so I can then cut it. So I'm going to leave it here for a few seconds, let the ink transfer. Now, it does not give a clear image. The stamp set is not designed to do that. So you do get darker and lighter spots, but that is all okay and how it is meant to be. 2 and 3. So did you girls do anything interesting on the weekend? Hello, Miss Julie. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean these as I go. So I always give my stamps a bit of a stamp off on a scrap piece of paper. So we may be a bit slower, but I'm going to be ready to put this away. So what I do is I have a really dirty chamois and I have quite a clean chamois. So I basically stamp on the dirty one and give it a bit of a twist on the dry one, and that is clean and ready to put away. Now I'm going to very carefully, I got extremely inky hands doing class on Sunday with my girls. Oh, lovely. Yeah, it was quite hot here, but I'm not a beach person. Sand and I do not go together. I cannot walk in it. I cannot walk on it, on concrete. It's really slippery and I go slipping and sliding, which is never a good thing. Now, I'm not going to do the flowers yet. I'm going to do both of these at the same time. So I'm going to grab my Mango Melody and my little bush here. Now, I've done them out from the bottom on my original card, but I think I'm going to do some of them standing next to, but still overlapping, because I like when everything touches and overlaps, because that is exactly how everything happens in nature. And if you really wanted to, you could, and I'm going to show you here, I'm actually going to stamp off as if there is one in the background, so you just get the lighter image there. So this is really simple stamping. I'm not doing anything earth-shattering. And this one I'm going to pop out on the angle like the original card, close my ink pad, and then clean my stamp. Okay, can't go away yet. Give it a stamp off. And this is how I normally do stamp. I normally use a colour, pop it away, clean. Oh, I got ink on the corner there. Clean, and then I put everything away at the same time. So now I'm going to go in with my little Tranquil Tide cactus. Now this is my ink pad that needs a little bit of love. This ink pad needed so much love. It came apart on the weekend. One of my customers got a tad enthusiastic with it, and I had to watch a YouTube video because I'd forgotten how to pop these ink pads together. So I keep my colours in one of our small wood mount cases. That's how I keep, and I keep my big colour families in one of our big cases. So twist this off. And I know I'm only dry in the middle. So I do this, and then I sort of run the edge over, and that is how I re-ink. If I really wanted to, I could get my bone folder and give it a very light smooth out, but I think this will be enough. So what I am going to do, and then I've popped that away with its colour family, and it's all ready to go back on my shelf. So I am going to give this a bit of a test to make sure it's juicy but not too, okay, that's a bit too juicy because I'm losing the line detail. So stamp this right off, give it, I'm going to grab, if I can, here my dirty ink pad. Shouldn't say dirty, the one I use for ink. And I'm just going to give this a light, not heavy like when I use my distinctive stamp sets, but just very light, and it just more evenly distributes the ink. Now I am going to grab a baby wipe here, and I will just keep the baby wipe in case, I'm being positive, in case I get any ink on my hand, because I'm gonna, it's not, that's right, it's not dirty, it's just stained. That's right, it's my inky one. I have my team swaps that I am, okay, so you can see now I'm getting a much crisper image, just spreading that ink out. So that is ready to rock. and we will do our images here. So I'm in the middle of making swaps for my team meeting this weekend, and our theme for the month is colouring. So I am using Stampin' blends, and I am colouring my little heart out. I'm doing some of our Geared Up Garage cars. So with this one, I'm going to stamp on, and I'm going to stamp off like I did with the other side. And with this one, I'm just going to pop one to the side but overlapping. So that is all our smaller cactuses stamped. Always like keeping my tape down mat clean, or as clean as I can, and I always have a stamping one around. So just give this a stamp, then give it a bit of a twist, and that one is all clean. So this weekend I'm letting my downline choose the project that we make together as a team, and then we go through some news and training as well, which is lovely. So our next colour is Mint Macaron, and we're going to do these little sticky uppy bits. Hello Miss Trina, how are you? So I love Mint Macaron. It's the perfect in-between colour for the Clover and the Tranquil Tide. Okay, so I have here mounted one on each side, different length stems. So I am definitely going to be using some stamping off here. And that one right there, and I'm going to put on some little ones as well. Wow, that's a lot of cards. I think I've got to make like 11 swaps this month, because I've had a lot of my team that aren't local, including Trina, send me swaps, which is fantastic. So we always do a theme every month, and which is good. And then we make X amount of cards for that theme. So what I think I might do here is do the full strength one here, part one off there, and another one which is really light just there, because groups of odds are always more visually pleasing, which is why I've done 3 plants, not just 2. Okay, I think I want this one coming out of here, that one coming out of there, and we'll flip over to the light one, or the small one I should say, and that one just there. Right, so now before I do my lovely lipstick stamping here, I am going to come in and ground our plants, because they do look as though they're sort of floating in mid-air at the moment. And the best way I find to do that, now there are a couple of ways. You can use some watercolor pencils, you can use a marker, you can use some ink and a blender pen, but I find using our alcohol marker Stampin' blends the easiest. Now this is the 2 smoky slate colors, the light and the dark, and our color lifter. Now I am only going to be using the light. I'm not going to be using the dark, but I have it out for the chrome parts. I am so happy to hear that, Julie. Very happy to inspire. I find the same thing when I lose my mojo, that watching other people and getting some ideas is always helpful. So I'm just going to put my dark smoky slate to the side. I'm going to use my light, and I'm going to, these ones like our Stampin' Right markers have a brush end and a bullet end. I do apologise, I flung a nail off this morning, so I have one naked nail. But it's getting fixed next week, so it's not too bad. So what I'm going to do is just pop a couple of strokes here. Now it doesn't have to be too thick because the sentiment, oh God, I got it over too. The sentiment that we're using is not terribly wide, but I do want this to be fairly organic. But I do just want to connect those ends. So just to lighten this up a bit, I do go over with our colour lifter, and this just pushes it deeper into the cardstock, giving it, and it also gives it a bit of a mottled finish, which I like. And if you used a different colour, you could also put dots on it. I might, and give it a bit of a sandy finish, but I won't do that because we're putting the sentiment over it. Now this doesn't look like anything, but when it dries you can see it does go a bit lighter. Now if you're worried there's a bit of ink on the tip here, you can just scribble it off like you do with any of your blender pens or markers that you think you have ink on. So they have significantly lightened, which I'm happy about. And I'm going to open our lovely lipstick. Good morning, Deb, how are you? Now I'm going to start with our little flowers, and then I will pop on our sentiments. So these flowers just go on the top of the arms of our cactus. So that's one done. I think I'm using a really light part of the ink pad. I like the detail I'm getting out of this, where the other one I used, it was looks as though the ink pad was quite juicy, and I lost some of that detail when you compare these two. Now these red base inks will stain our photopolymer, so whilst this is pink and stained, it is actually clean. So I will show you. That is actually clean and not leaving any residue. But it has been said by many companies and many stampers that the photopolymer stamps that stain show that they are fantastic quality. The lower quality ones don't tend to stain. Okay, putting this sentiment that says be your own kind of beautiful, which I think is a lovely stamp set, great for a teenager card, because we all remember how hard it was to be that age. Having two teenagers in my house, even though they're two boys, it has made me acutely aware of how awkward and hard being a teenager is, and all those memories are kind of flooding back, and I'm there going, oh, that's awkward and hard stage of life. Okay, so that is all my stamping done. Okay, I'm going to close this ink pad because this ink pad colour, or all the red colours, are the bane of my existence because I always get them everywhere. So that is away, and look, I only got a tiny bit on my hand today, and now that I am finished the inking, oops, I am rather impressed that I only have a bit of a green and a pink thumb. I'll clean these 2 stamps and then I will get on to die cutting. Then we're assembling, and these 3 cards will be ready to pop in my stash and ready to give some beautiful people in the next few months. Now this card, because of the colours I have chosen, equally works for a masculine or a feminine card, and especially for those people that love gardening. I know cactuses are a super huge trend, but equally anyone who loves gardening will love this stamp set. Okay, they are all clean, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to be really good and I'm going to pop them away. So just bear with me for a minute or so while I pop all these away, so then I don't lose any. Touch wood, I have never permanently lost a stamp. I have only temporarily lost them. Okay, so I roughly put them on the image. I'm not anal and they have to line up perfectly. They just need to be roughly where the image is underneath. Get this one. That's not good that you're travelling slow today, Deb. I feel I'm running a bit slow. I do have a sick son who's just got a cold, and my husband seems to be picking up the same cold. So I have diffusers going, they've rolled oils on their feet. I am desperately myself trying not to get sick and have it passed on to my eldest son and myself. So yeah, just put on these last couple and then I'll bring over the Big Shot and the stitched rectangle framelits. Okay, so that's our Flowering Desert stamp set. This is our stitched rectangle set, which I love, and I use a bit too much at the moment, but it makes life so much easier. Now I'm just making an educated, too small, educated guess to the ones that we need. No, still too small. Wow. Really? Okay. Is it this one? Oh, so do I. You know what boys are like when they're sick. Okay, perfect. Put these back down because these are also a pain to lose. Right. Pop these to the side. Bring over my Big Shot. I know people have names for their Big Shots. I've never had a name for my Big Shot. Do you girls? Does anyone have a name for their Big Shot? Be interested to know. So you can see here from the back that I have pushed the ink through the cardstock from the alcohol marker. So I do like popping these through on an angle. It stops the dies from bowing quite as much. And now I'm centering the sentiment and not the flowers and not the thing. So just making sure this sentiment is centered. Now, yeah, so by putting these types of dies through on an angle, you bow them less. No name, okay. Hello, Miss Alana. Alana, you're watching the card that you made on Sunday. Alana bought her two of her lovely nieces, and these girls, it was their first time at my class, and oh my god, they did so well. I was so impressed with their stamping and punching, and we used the big shot, so it was a great kind of first class for them to come to. And they loved all the cards that we made, which always makes me happy. Okay, so I am using the magnetic platform here, so it does help that once we put it down, we do have wriggle room without the die flinging everywhere, if that makes any sense. Right, can we go up a touch? I think we're good. I think we are good. And I find by putting it in on an angle, you get less clunking in your big shot as well, which I always appreciate. So I love that you get the stitch, and if you do want to use the piece that you're taking off, you do get the stitching detail on that side as well. So you get on both sides, which is always useful if you want to make a frame for a shaker card or something like that. So I do like this one where I have double stamped the background. Okay, this one does not. The magnets don't want to play for this card. Front, right. I think we're good, although, no, just go for it. It can be crooked. It's handmade, not Hallmark. It's handmade, not Hallmark. Okay, so that is our 3 stamped pieces now cut out. Put my big shot back away. Don't know what I do in my card making without my big shot. Okay, that is that done. Pop this out, make sure this die goes back away. Okay. And then I will start assembling. Now this assembling is nice and easy, just some, you can either use snail, but I will use my trusty handy dandy Tombow glue, and I will use some dimensionals. Now as we know, this glue does actually have a clog in my narrow end, so I am just using my broad tip end because it doesn't have the same, it doesn't have a clog in it. So I just pop on a few little blobs. I probably use a bit more glue this way, but I'm not really bothered because I know I'm nearly at the end of my glue. So I'd prefer to use my glue than to throw it out. Ooh, rosewater lemonade. Well, you know I've got my normal, I do have my water to the side. I should have some in a second. So just glue that down. It's fairly centered. Bring in my next piece. I have the watermelon strawberry. Yes, I'm not necessarily saying it to you guys. I'm saying it to myself because I do need to stop trying to, using this the wrong way, it's annoying me. I do need to stop being so much of in my head wanting to be a perfectionist, and I just need to let it be. It's okay just to let it be. Okay. This. Now, this is why I like using the Tombow glue, because it does give me that touch of wiggle room to get it the best that I can. Okay, that's 2, and my last one. Yes, or you can say it's handmade. You don't need to say handmade, not Hallmark. It's just, it's handmade. Okay, now I'm finished with this glue. Pop the end on. Pop it in here. I like that I can use this holder both ends. I got glue on my mat, obviously, because it doesn't want to let go. Okay, pop this last one down. Okay, this last one is down. Pop it over. Okay, I do prefer using my scissors, especially since I'm missing a nail at the moment. My hands are used to using it. Yeah, thank you, Sue. My pleasure. Happy to share. I also, this stamp set isn't my normal kind of style, just putting it out there. But when I flicked by it in the catalogue, I went, this stamp set's calling me. And I couldn't work out why. And I said to a couple of my really close crafty friends, I said, why is this stamp set calling me? And they went, I don't know, it's not you. And I went, I know it's not me. But I bought it for 25 Australian dollars. I bought it and I've played with it and I've loved it. And I like seeing what people are doing with it, especially all these bits where you can build your own cactus. I've also, like my friend said, you can build a person with that stamp set. I went, I could. I couldn't necessarily do the eyes and mouth and everything, but I could certainly build a body out of it, which I think is a bit cool. So, yeah, and I do really like the stingers. I can't think of what they're called. Yes, exactly. And even though I've used lovely lipstick in this card, as I was saying earlier, it does certainly look a lot more red with the Mango Melody and the trio of greens that I have chosen in the Call Me Clover, Mint Macaron and Tranquil Tide. It tones down the pinkness in it perfectly. Okay, and one more, and then I will fold my card bases. Put these over here to put away. I have my 3 card bases and my non-inky bone folder. It's a bit inky, but it's not as inky as the other ones. I had an experiment and I cut my cardstock the way I normally don't cut it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the rose, Julie. I'm really not. I just bought a 3-pack of that and wasn't a fan. Now, did you girls know that if you pre-score your cards, you should have the mountain in the middle and the valley on the outside, and that gives you a much crisper and tighter fold. I didn't do that one very square. Hello, Miss Adele. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just at the end of assembling my Flowering Desert cards. So I have just done some very simple stamping and just done some layers in the Big Shot using the stitched rectangle framelits. Apparently I have straightness issues today, but that's okay. There you go. So yeah, I always pre-score my card bases using my trimmer, which I haven't used today because I had everything pre-prepared from my class. And so when you score it, you create the valley, and then that valley you want on the outside. And if you do an experiment, you'll actually understand what I'm talking about. That you do have that. Okay, I'm dying without my nail. Yes, it does make a difference, and you get less of the cracking of the cardstock. So you always get less cracking of the cardstock folding and cutting your cards in half lengthways. So these two go together to make the full height of a piece of A4 cardstock. But this is the way the paper fibers lay in the cardstock, where if I scored it this way, I'm going against. It just flung off, Julie. I did something this morning and went, oh, I think my nail's gone, and it had just lifted. It happens occasionally because these are gel nails, so it's not just polish. It's all good. It doesn't hurt. It's just, it didn't want to be there anymore. But yeah, it feels really weird because I haven't lost a nail in a really, really long time. And normally I lose it a couple of days before, but I've got a week till my appointment, so I'll just have to nurture the nail that I've got. And because I tend to break my nails below the white, which is why I do have gel coating on my nails, because it ends up being very, very painful, and then I really can't function at all. So yeah, but it's okay. My amazing friend Melissa will fix it, and it will be as good as new. Card 2. You look great without Ellen. What do you mean, Julie? No, not too much housework. I think it's because I've been playing with oils, and a bit of oil got under my nail and has lifted it with all the sickness in my house. I do have a nice little protective diffuser going here, a little recipe. So it's not fun when you've actually got your nail sausage. It's okay. It's all good. It's real life. Yeah. I don't know if I could go back to having no nails. I really don't. I think I've had a period with no nails, especially when I'm pregnant. My nail lady hates me because I get really oily nail beds, and I fling like this nails off like they're going out of style. So during my second pregnancy, I did take a break. But yeah, I hated it. And it's not just about the look, it is also about the function and just the way my nails break. So I'm just popping on my stickers with my name and contact details on them, because people have got to know who it's from. It doesn't matter if you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator or not. Please put your name. At the least, put your name and your telephone number on them. I don't sell my cards. I give my cards away. So I generally don't put on the trademark, but this has my details on it, so someone can contact me if they wish to purchase anything from me, or they would like me to make a card for them, because I have to make a very special card this week. I might actually do that this afternoon. My friend, sorry, I've just got some adhesive stuck on this card, so I'm just using my adhesive remover to remove that, and I'll also remove it off here so I don't get any more. And still just a touch sticky. Yes, a Dalmatian wedding card is what I have to make. I know, don't the rectangles just add that bit of detail? But I haven't actually added any embellishments. It's just ink and paper, but using the stitched rectangles die, or dies plural, it does just elevate the cards and gives them that bit of detail. It makes them a bit special. So thank you guys so much for joining me. As always, if you want to purchase anything that I've used today, you can find them in my Facebook store, or you can find them on my demonstrator store. So I will be sharing this card, a single photo and details about this card tomorrow night. Texture, interest, exactly. Awesome. Yes, these have my email and my phone number, my web address, and the name of my Facebook page. My pleasure. Thank you girls so much for joining me as always. I always do appreciate you popping in to say hi and keeping me company. I'm glad that I can now pop these cards aside, and I have one more card to show you, which I'll show you later in the week, and it is using the Happy Tales bundle. So I will pop that out now and make my Dalmatian card for my friend for her colleague's wedding, and I will catch you guys later in the week. Have fun, and thank you again. Bye.